And we're live. It feels so good to be back. Survivor, YouTuber, winner, rankings, chat. We're going to be getting along so much tonight. We're doing some hot takes. We're doing some rapid fire questions. Make sure you're being super active in the chat. You know what? We're going to be talking so much tonight. I don't want to lose my voice just yet. So I'm going to play a little intro for you. Ranking every Survivor winner from worst to best with the biggest collab in Survivor YouTube history. Bringing your favorite content creators together, 11 different YouTube channels, 4 separate live streams. Finding out once and for all who is the best. We need to remember this is the average ranking of 11 Survivor YouTube channels. Well, technically 9 Survivor YouTube channels, 1 Big Brother YouTube channel, and 1 Hell's Kitchen YouTube channel. The rules are simple. We have 44 different winning Survivor games to work with. Everyone separately ranks the winners from worst to best. The worst winner was given 1 point and the best winner 44 points. I then put all the math together to come up with the best winner rankings of all time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. All your favorite content creators were told the same thing. Rank these winners however you like and whatever you value most. Outwit, outplay, outlast, we have it all. So, there we go. We have it all. No spoilers just yet. We're ranking today. We're talking about number 44 to number 34. Those ranking. I'm really hoping Chris Underwood's not going to be coming in last place, but we'll be talking about that very soon. Joining me, as always, is the co-host Flynnmasters. How's it going?
Well, it's going well. Yeah, excited. The season rankings last year was really fun. Back at it. I can't believe it's already been a year at it with the winter rankings. That's absolutely crazy. And yeah, there should be some really spicy takes. I think as the Survivor fandom, we can kind of agree on season rankings. There's always gonna be a spicy take here. But with the winter rankings, yeah, it's gonna be nonstop. These 4 streams are gonna be really epic. So really excited.
It's good to have you back. And next up, guys, for this stream, bringing you some of the most interesting and bizarre top 5 Survivor content out there. We got Luke, idled out. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Thank you both so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be talking about these top 10, bottom 10 winners. So yeah, really stoked to be here. Thanks, guys.
No problem. And what's up? Hey, hello, Survivor Scholar fans. We got Alyssa. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you? It's a fun night.
It's a fun night. You know what? I broke my arm, so we're struggling a little bit here, Chad. That's why the videos have slowed down a little bit, but I'm sure we'll talk about that later. And lastly, fun fact, Flynnmasters is actually her personal trainer, the other half of the Survivor Scholars.
You say that on air, dude.
Oh How's it going?
Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here and talk these worst Survivor winners with y'all.
There we go. It's going to be good. So before we get started, I don't want to give any spoilers. Who's at the bottom? It's not going to be Chris, guys. It's not going to be Chris. But I told everyone when we were doing this, rank these winners however you would like. Do you value the social game, the physical game? One of these Survivor content creators, not on our panel today, we'll talk about that in a future live stream. He based it fully on story. So his rankings are a little out of whack. So I want to know, all our panelists here, how you kind of went about our rankings. We'll start with you, Flynn.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of the boring answer here, kind of depends. Like, first, let me say this: all the winners deserve their win. Even the bottom, who I have bottom ranked, they all deserve their win. I want to get that out of the way. And some of the players I have at the bottom of my list, I consider like a far better, player than someone at the top of the list as an overall player, right? But when looking at the actual winner rankings, their games, kind of depend on how dominant they were, or in the majority. And always like the hot topic with these. Oh, another big thing I look at luck. How lucky did they get? As you'll see a lot of. We look at, the people like Chris and Ben's of the world, they got really lucky. But sometimes people really forget about some other winners who got also very, very extremely lucky that we kind of forget about. So that's a big thing. Because obviously you all say luck's a big thing in Survivor, but just how lucky were some others compared to the others. And, obviously the big controversial thing when talking about winners is like, finding idols a good thing? Winning immune idols like a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I'm kind of mixed on them. Like, it's if you can add it to your resume, that's awesome. But, spoiler alert, if you're like, someone who needs like 5 straight immunity hours to get to the end, I'm going to have to knock you a little bit too. And as far as returning players, that's another big thing too. Not for this stream, but when we get to those streams, I have to knock those down a little bit too. Again, spoiler alerts, if you're a returning player, you play against a bunch of newbies who have no idea what they're doing, I'm going to have to knock you down a little bit too. So just kind of a mix of things. And yeah, that's kind of my criteria. But dominance is the main thing.
Okay, Luke, we'll bounce to you next. How'd you go about with these rankings?
Yeah, I think Flynn and I are going to be kind of on the same page a lot for this because basically the same thing. I mean, I look at dominance. I think a big factor for me was dominance, obviously, but if you're not in the majority or you're like an underdog, like a Chris or a Danny, how good were you at kind of surviving and also setting up, the chess pieces to benefit you in the future? But for me, I mean, if we look at my like top 5, I mean, it's all the most dominant people in the game, so yeah, pretty much what Flynn said. I co-sign most of that.
Interesting. And Alyssa, we go to you next. How'd you go about some of your hot take controversial rankings?
So one thing that was really important to me that I think that Flynn and Luke didn't really mention is I feel like storytelling is a really big thing, and specifically storytelling from the perspective of a casual fan. I have a lot of friends who are like casual Survivor fans, have seen like a handful of seasons or like watching the show, but don't like go on Reddit after every episode or anything. And so I think talking to them about Survivor winners has definitely influenced the way I view Survivor winners, because there are some people where I'm like, oh, this was a great winner. And my friends who are casual fans are like, what are you talking about? So I feel like that was a really big thing for me. I think also I personally don't value physical game that much. And so if a winner like just wins because they won immunity challenges, I see that kind of like not that interesting. So yeah, I feel like I rated social game and strategic game higher than physical game. And then also casuals. How do casuals feel about the winner?
Don't forget about the casuals. The casuals are important too. Rachel, we'll finish with you. How'd you go with these rankings?
Yeah, definitely with Survivor rankings, whether it's winners or seasons, it's very arbitrary. Like all of us here ranking it by different values and criteria. For me, similar to Alyssa, I think I value like the strategy aspect more than like the athleticism, the physical game part. So like, okay, was the person leading votes? Were they making moves rather than more like luck or randomness with the season that they're on, the game mechanics that they're thrown. And also I feel like a big thing would be looking at the edit, maybe giving a few more points in my rankings for people that got a bad edit, but maybe post-season interviews demonstrate that they were doing a lot on the season, but their edit wasn't that good. And overall, like enjoyment of the season, the winner of the season might be good or bad. And then the season, vice versa, could be really good or bad. So I feel like that whole storyline aspect plays a role in it for me.
Okay, interesting. Now that we got it all together, how I went with my rankings was fairly simple. Just before Survivor 42, I made a video ranking all the winners. So I grabbed that video, I added in Marianne, I added in Gabler, and I added in Jam, and that's how I went with my rankings. I don't remember how I did it for the video, but I thought that's the perfect way to go about it. Drum roll, please, chat. We're going with number 44 here. The worst winner based on all the Survivor content creators coming together here. Rachel put this person 37th overall. Alyssa, 43rd. Idled out and Flynn as the worst winner. And I said the 38th worst winner of all time. Here's who it is.
The winner of Survivor, Edge of Extinction,
Chris Underwood. Why? This guy had one of the best finale episodes a winner has ever seen, probably will ever see. So, I mean, idled out, Flynn, both of you ranked him as the worst winner of all time. Go, Flynn, can you give me a little summary of his game? It won't take long. Give me the take.
Exactly. I mean, I know it's just a boring take, but he's the only winner to get voted out. I mean, not just voted out, but third boot. There's just I can't overlook that. And I know the comments can be like, I'm sure your argument will be like, oh, he did more in his 3 days back than blah blah blah. But even like, okay, I will admit Lauren playing the idol on him is very, very impressive. But fun fact, War Dog told him to do that. And let's be real, like everyone knew about Lauren's idol and knew she wanted to make a big move from the Edge of Extinction, so they pretty much told him to go do that and make her make a big move. And he used the Edge's advice to his advantage there, which again, still, that was definitely a good move on his part. But even that move, his best move, is not that impressive to me. I don't even know if he would have done it without War Dog's help. You know, he needed an idol at the final 5. I mean, obviously that's a bad thing. And again, final 4, yes, that's awesome what he did, but like that's like such the obvious move. I mean, you're gonna fire, you got to take out Devins. Like you have to be a complete moron not to go to fire. I mean, easier said than done from the couch, but you know, so I mean, obviously getting voted out, and the fact that I don't even think like his amazing gameplay in those next 3 days are even all that impressive. I just, you know, and of course the jury being on the edge with him, it just, I with all due respect to you three, I cannot fathom how you can't put this guy as the worst winner.
So I'm excited for a little debate here. Now, this guy didn't even play 26 days of Survivor. Think about that for a second. This new era, this guy's done less than that. So on the flip side of things, Rachel, not a full Survivor season. Why didn't you rank him at the bottom?
Yeah, I feel like I can see, you know, the pros and cons of Chris's game, like being voted out, getting to hang out with the jury for all of that time in a like non-game setting. But I feel like Chris gets a lot of slack just because he was voted out. But there's other winners that have been voted out of the game as well in other non-US versions of Survivor. And you might say, okay, that other person, they weren't out of the game for as long, so Chris is worse because he played less days of Survivor. But I guess, would people be as mad if Devins won? Devins was voted out and he came back into the game, but at that first Battle Back challenge and not the second one, would people be as mad if Natalie won Winners at War? I feel like for Chris's game, he played the game that he was dealt, and Edge of Extinction was a part of that season. So I feel like you can't really fault him for coming back and using Edge and winning the game based off of information from Edge, the relationships from Edge, because that was part of the entire season. And so I feel like you can say, yeah, it's unfair to be voted out, to hang out with the jury members, everyone, for all of those days. I think it's also unfair, similar to fire tokens, people on Edge getting to just, you know, hang out. Fire tokens sort of unfair without knowing all of the game mechanics. But I feel like you can't necessarily fault Chris's win for that because it was part of the game that season. Exactly. And like Flynn was saying, you know, I think Chris is good at challenges. We saw him win the Edge challenge. He won the final immunity challenge.
He beat Joey Amazing
challenge. Exactly. And I feel like Chris's stock is going to rise. He's on the challenge this season, and he has good leadership on the challenge, good strategy, similar to, I feel like, other Survivor winners who maybe their edit the first time wasn't as good, like Sophie. Her stock has risen after Winners at War. If Chris plays again and from the challenge, I think his stock is going to rise.
I love that perfectly. So, Luke, buddy, not going to lie, when I got everyone's rankings emailed into me, nothing hurt me more when I saw your ranking. And I saw Chris at number 44. We joked around. We talked about this throughout the year. Our plan was together. Both put Chris at number 1, put him in the average up rankings, get Chris out of this bottom spot. What happened here, and why did you end up putting him at last place?
I think our credibility would be on the line. I don't know if people would tune into stream too if we went through this whole thing and Chris Underwood wasn't there. Yeah, I mean, I thought about the memes of it all. I'm sure you did too, as we talked about. Yeah, I don't know how you could rank Chris anything but last unless you like your cable went out like halfway through episode 3 and then it came back in halfway through the finale. You know, you might be like, oh, this guy played a pretty good game. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, voted out third. If this was Devins, who spent only a few days out of the game and played an otherwise, you know, decent game, I might have him up above, you know, a few spots. But just Chris being out so long is like, yeah, I don't know. It
hurt. I just want you to know that. Like, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Deep down, that one did hurt me. So it's good. Alyssa, same thing as Rachel. I know I didn't rank him last, but I'm hosting this here. I don't have to answer the questions. You guys got to answer the questions. Chris was voted out. He didn't play many days on Survivor. So similar to Rachel, do you have any different takes on it? Why is, I mean, he was only ranked 43rd overall, but why wasn't he in your last place?
I think for me, it really came down to the thing I said where like casuals and how well casuals can understand why he won the game. I talked at length with one of my friends who's a casual Survivor fan, and I was like, well, didn't you think it was weird that Chris Underwood won when he barely played the game? And she was like, well, no. Like the entire finale was basically like Survivor's thesis of here's why Chris should win, even though he didn't play most of the game. And so I think that the fact that like the show dedicated a lot of time to showing us why he should win, like I couldn't put him in dead last, but I also like could not morally put him far above it. So
Okay. I think we've talked enough about the man, the myth, the legend, but chat, remember, every single player, every single ranking, we end with a rapid fire question. My co-hosts here, they don't know what these questions are, and chat, you don't know what they are either, so I want you answering them for yourself, and one of my co-hosts is going to do their best on the hot seat to try and answer this. My first one's for you, Luke. Idled out. So we've seen someone be voted out, come back, win the game. You ranked them in last place. Edge of Extinction, Redemption Island, some sort of a battle back into the game. Do you see a scenario where someone who was voted out comes back and wins, not ranking them last place? Or are you always going to be ranking them last place no matter what?
I wish I was principled enough to say that if you're voted out, then you just automatically are last place. But I mean, there are people like I said, like Devins. I probably would not have him last place.
Aussie?
Aussie, I would not have last place. So yeah, there are people who came within, people who got voted out who came within spitting distance of winning, and I would not on principle rank them last. I wish I would, but I probably wouldn't. Okay,
good. Yeah, we got some Aussies in here as well. I think Aussie's really the only good example. Devon's for sure one as well, but I'm scared Survivor might bring that back one day.
No matter Rod Love in the chat.
Chat, let's go. All right, number 43. We're going down the rankings here. This is the player that Rachel ranked 44th overall, the only person to rank this player in last place. Alyssa, 42nd overall. Idled out. And Flynn, 43rd overall. Again, you guys are in unison and also the exact same with the average. I ranked this player 42nd overall. We have, drum roll please,
the winner of Survivor Gabon, Bob.
We got Bob, Survivor Gabon, the old guy. Rachel, you got to explain yourself and go first here. Bob is the worst winner in Survivor history. What's going on?
I guess someone had to take the worst spot if I wasn't putting Chris last. So Bob takes that spot for me. I feel like Gabon, a random chaotic season, a friend from college loves Gabon, and I don't think it's ironically liking Gabon. You can say Bob's good at challenges, winning individual immunities, helping his team win. But I feel like I said at the beginning of the stream, I more so value the strategic aspects of Survivor and winning Survivor, where Bob on the bottom a lot, sort of like, okay, what is he doing? Does he know what he's doing and making moves? Similar to like Mike Holloway being on the bottom a lot. For me, with the winner rankings, I would want to see someone who's more in charge of the game. And I feel like a big thing with the Final Four to Final Three, it doesn't really feel like he convinced Sugar to keep him. More so like Sugar didn't necessarily care, sort of random there as Gabon is. And that's why Sugar brought him to Final Three.
So if Sugar's just kind of there at the Final Three, Alyssa, is this season better? Would Susie be ranked as a better winner overall if Susie ends up winning Survivor Gabon?
That's a rough question, Russell, because it's been forever since I've seen Survivor Gabon. I think that's part of the reason why I had to rank Bob so low, because I'm like, this man, if he had a story, I sure as heck don't remember it. I feel like it's one of those things where you would have people say that Susie is a better winner, but I think you would also have people say Bob is a better winner. And I think also we have the benefit of hindsight. Gabon was like forever ago. So I feel like people would probably say that Susie is a better winner just because she's not Bob. So
Yeah. Another thing, a positive that Bob has on his side is the challenges. Bob did good in the challenges. Some argue, like, statistically in one of Peridium's videos, like one of the best male challenge beasts of all time. Luke, does the challenges way help this guy's win? I guess he gets lucky with the challenge wins. Like, is it more of a luck component or a skill component that had Bob make it to the end of the game?
I mean, I think the challenges are impressive just because the man was 57 years old. I mean, he's still the oldest winner we've had. And just on that, I mean, even setting the challenges aside, just being that much older than most of the other people he's playing against, going against 20 and 30-year-olds, I mean, it's pretty tough to relate to people that much younger than you. So, yeah, I think the challenges factor in mostly for me because of his age.
Yeah. And so, Flynn, give me an underrated move. I don't want to be hurting on the guy too much here. What's something good Bob did?
That's really the only thing. I mean, the fact that I guess that he was like an older guy, that he was be able to fit into his alliance. Like, yeah, I mean, he was at the bottom of his alliance and they made it very clear and he knew himself. But the fact that someone like him, who, I mean, not like, I guess if he was like a female, that'd be even more impressive. But I mean, still the oldest guy typically could be an early boot. The fact that he pretty much was able to at least be in the majority, the entire pre-merge essentially is an underrated move, is like underrated gameplay. Maybe not underrated move because I honestly can't think of an underrated move, but underrated gameplay.
Okay. And for the rapid fire question, chat, it's Bob from Survivor Gabon. What else do you want from us here?
Yeah, honestly.
So this rapid fire question is going to be a little more general, and it's for you, Alyssa, and for chat as well. Get ready for it. Does the Survivor season and how the Survivor season is affect how you think of a winner? Like, if it's a shitty season, are you like, this winner's going to hurt? Or does the winner not really matter in terms of the season?
I mean, I feel like we all would like to say that the view of the season like doesn't affect our view of the winner, but like, we're human. I feel like it kind of has to. I think especially like if you didn't enjoy a season, you might not go back and rewatch it and see all of the ways that the winner was actually doing really well in the game. If you did enjoy a season, you might like begin to see things that aren't there. Like, you put together a murder board of like all the reasons why actually this one thing that was said once on day 2 foreshadows the entire like winner arc. So I feel like, yeah, the way you view a season definitely affects the way that you view a winner. I guess Flynn said in the chat that apparently I ranked Gabon as my least favorite season, which, I don't remember doing that, but if he says it, I believe him.
I know it's a hot take if I remember correctly.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Bob, Survivor Gabon. People in the chat are kind of agreeing with us here that the season does affect the winner in terms of that. I got to remind everyone in chat, make sure you like the video, please. We got 38 people in here. And at some point throughout the stream, near the end, we're going to be doing a little giveaway. We're giving away this 5-piece Survivor puzzle. The puzzle, and if you remember, Survivor Cambodia, Spencer solved in 15 seconds or something. So if you want to be like Spencer and win a challenge like this, make sure you stick around for a little bit. Moving into our number 42nd best/worst Survivor winner of all time. We had Rachel ranking this person 35th overall, Alyssa 38th, Idle out 42nd, somehow the exact same as the average. Right now, you got the same as the average every time. Flynn 38th overall, and hot take, I ranked this person as the worst winner in Survivor history.
Vote left. The winner of Survivor.
It's Ben, the worst winner in Survivor history, everybody. Chat, please don't flame me too much or support me. Be on my side for this one and help me out here. Here's the problem. We had, at the very, very end of the game, a forced fire-making twist. I'm over it now. It's been many years. I've gotten accustomed to it. But come on. They didn't know about it during the season. That's the big problem with it in this season. Broken record. Everyone's talked about it. Also, all those idols. Ben found all these idols so easy to find. No. I don't believe it. Survivor was fake with this season. But Let's see who ranked this winner the best out of everyone. We had Rachel at 35. So you're on the opposite end of the spectrum with me on this one. Why is Ben not the worst winner ever?
Yeah, I'm not sure why I ranked him so high. I'm confused. I think, because on my notes written here, I feel like it's all negative things. So I don't know how that translates to a 35 ranking. So I feel like for me, similar to like Chris, I guess with Edge of Extinction, on opposite ends here, Ben, it felt like with all of these idols being found and the fire making challenge being instituted in this season, basically helping save him over and over again. Sure, you can say, yeah, he went out to look for these idols. People should have followed him around, so he got prevented from finding these idols. But it does feel a little bit like production intervention, like, all these idols are randomly appearing now, and the fire making challenge, like he lost final immunity, Chrissy won, and then she gets this quote advantage, but it's not really an advantage. It's like a disadvantage. And I think the biggest problem for me this season is that the cast weren't told about this Final Four advantage or Final Four fire making prior, so they couldn't plan for it. Nowadays, we all know Final Four fire is coming, so at like 5-6, let's start planning who is going to maybe be good at fire. Let's vote them out. Who can I beat in fire? So let's keep them around. So yeah, I'm not sure why I ranked him so highly. I feel like I'm more negative on like not necessarily his game, but like the idols and then the fire making challenge not being told to the cast. So maybe that's why I ranked him higher, because
the situation for sure makes it a tough one there. What's interesting is like obviously he comes back in Winners at War, also comes back into the challenge. So Alyssa, I'm coming to you here. Playing the challenge, he got a little bit of a better rep there, not this villainous kind of end of the game Ben bombing type we saw in Survivor. Do we see a chance, like the production team, CBS, they like Ben, they keep bringing him back to these things. Is Ben going to come back in Survivor, and does he have a chance to win again without all this luck? I got the tough questions for you.
I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask this to, because like I feel like of everyone in this chat, I'm like the most Ben positive. Like Rachel and I were just talking about how it's kind of weird that she ranked Ben higher than I did, because I love Ben and Rachel doesn't really care. So I feel like I am not in a position to give an objective assessment of Ben's
then go off. Let's
chances.
Be positive about Ben for a second. Give him some praise.
So here's my thing. Saying that Ben shouldn't win because he had a twist that benefited him is like saying that Parvati shouldn't have won Micronesia because it was supposed to be a final, or people were thinking final 3, final, like there's so many things. Ben's not at fault for what production chooses to do or not to do. Like
neither is
up.
Chris.
And neither is Chris. And I like wholeheartedly agree with that. Like I feel like players play with the twists that they're given. It sucks for us, and I'm sure it sucks for the players, but that doesn't mean that they're worse winners. If anything, I think you could make an argument that the players that have to adapt to the craziest stuff are the ones that are the best winners, because they're not just playing the stock game. They're not the ones who are just doing like, oh, we know that we vote out this person at this position and this person at this position. Like every time there's a new shakeup in the game and they have to come up with something new, like, yeah, I think that makes them a better winner. But anyways, back to Ben. I feel like he could not win.
Hold on a sec. I think that was the smartest thing anyone said in this entire thing. If I can remember, I'm going to clip that later and post that as a clip itself. That was so smart. Thank you for saying that. Keep going.
I don't even remember what I said anymore. It's like I have amnesia. But yeah, back to Ben coming back, winning again. I don't think he could win again. I think that his personality is such that he's a really good character, but not a really good winner. I think people would like Ben a lot more if he had gone home in 4th place where he was supposed to go. Because like he is, I feel like almost the archetypical fallen angel. He like has this whole like heart-rending story about like being a military veteran, and like we had that whole scene of him like freaking out because of the bamboo cracking in the fire, and it's like he would have been a great fallen angel, and I feel like people get so upset about him as a winner that they forget like everything else that he did that was good. Because like his first half of the game was actually really cool. I liked it a lot. That's why I became a Ben stan. So I don't think he could win again, but like, you know, that's okay. I'm okay unapologetically liking Ben, even though a lot of people don't. So
Luke, can you be the voice of reason here? You've been the exact same vote, like ranking as the average every single time. So be the correct reason here. What is Ben doing here at 42nd place?
I guess I got my finger on the pulse of the community, but yeah, I think a lot of people are knocking him for the fire making and the Idol Palooza, and that is very reasonable. I don't think he's a remarkable winner by any means. But I do think we should give credit, like Alyssa said, to Ben's early game. I think he was in a pretty good spot on the Hero Beach. He had a really bad swap that, I mean, they never went to tribal, I don't think, but him and Lauren kind of leveraged that into like a swing vote position at the merge. And then he went undercover, you know, with like Ryan and Chrissy. So I don't know if that was necessarily like a great move, but it was definitely like strategically exciting. So before he was kind of just, you know, idol guy and, you know, magically finding idols in his backpack practically, I think he was playing a pretty fun game to watch. So I think we forget a lot of, you know, Ben's gameplay just because of the back half kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
And talking about that back half, that's what the rapid fire question is going to be about. Chat, get ready for this one. Here it comes again. Flynn, I'm going to come to you this time. This is the rapid fire question you wrote for me. So let's see if you remember it. How would you rank his game had it not been for idols and fire? This hypothetical world.
Oh, very close to top. I mean, very, very close to top 10. Like, I mean, assuming like his final 7 on, like he's in the majority. Maybe at worst, like needs to immunity, like we need to win that final immunity challenge. It's not an upside down you this time, and he wins it. You know, probably borderline top 15. I have to imagine, because I agree with everyone else. His people forget that he didn't just play a great game. He played a dominant game up until the final 7. Again, was in control of the original Heroes tribe. Like Luke said, somehow was in a bad position, but turned that into a great position. And at the merge, and come the merge, he played such a dominant game, played undercover. Really one of the first to really ever do that, especially in Modern Survivor, to play undercover, that he played so well. Or I guess, I mean, you can kind of say that's like a negative on that people are able to sketch out that he was playing undercover. But again, he was playing such a dominant game up to the final 7 that literally everyone was like, okay, enough's enough. We got to take out Ben. He's playing such a dominant game. So yeah, I mean, I'd have to think about it, but probably over like, you know, I would say around the top 15 or so.
Yeah, chat's all on the same page. Like the game itself was fun to watch. People liked the stuff. It was just like production got a little too sneaky with it. But moving on to number 41 here. Chat, we got 48 people in here. Like the video. Do me a favor, please. Like if you're enjoying the content, yeah, it's a Friday night. We're all having fun here. Show it and give it a like. Anyways, 41st ranked. Rachel, you're on the pulse with this one. You ranked it 41st overall. Alyssa, you're the only person to rank this player in last place at 44th. Wow. Idled out, 40th. Flynn, 42nd. And myself, I was on the pulse with this one, 41st overall. Here we go.
The winner of Survivor Nicaragua, Fabio.
Sorry if I just broke your ears if you're wearing headphones. That was pretty loud. But we got Fabio, the jokester, the bro archetype, actually winning Survivor. Alyssa, we got to start with you ranking him in the last place. I know Rachel said it last time. Someone's got to be there, right? We got to rank someone in the last place. But why Fabio?
I mean, I feel like just the fact that he's the bro archetype, like he, like I said, I don't really care that much about physical game. And, you know, he mostly like physical game. Also, like someone said, I forgot Fabio existed. Legitimately, every time I think about Survivor winners, I have to remind myself that Fabio like actually won the game and it wasn't like a collective fever dream. So yeah, I just feel like all of that is why.
Well, we all ranked Fabio in a pretty rough spot. Luke, what's the redeeming quality? Give him a little bit of praise before we all just rant on him a little bit too much here.
That's tough. I think he he knew his role in the game. He knew he was the surfer boy, pretty boy, and he kind of embraced that and rolled with it and knew that people would underestimate him. You look at that first vote and he's on the wrong side of it. And I think the way he kind of recovers from that and kind of gets back in the majority is just like playing dumb and standing around and being pretty. And it worked. So I think that is definitely a big part of, honestly, the biggest part of Fabio's game, other than the 3 immunity wins at the end. So yeah, props to him. He knew what he had and he used it.
Flynn, you just said it. That's your archetype on Survivor, the bro archetype.
Oh.
Give him some more praise here. Let's go. What is an underrated move from Fabio?
Okay, so actually, not just underrated move. I think people forget about this. Kind of going along with Luke, but this really saved him. Final 7 votes. Benry and Fabio are on the outside. Benry, same exact archetype too, same type of look. Benry's really campaigning, Fabio, say myself, made myself. Fabio's kind of laying back. It's like, if it's me, whatever. I don't really care. I'm not really strategic like Benry. And who does the majority go for? They see that Benry's playing hard and Fabio's kind of laying back. They go for Benry, and that was like $1 million. Again, essentially $1 million in the line. He was able to, relax in that moment. And I got him to the final 6 where he won 3 immunities. So yeah, that's always a moment. I kind of remember that really, really sums up Fabio to the T with his gameplay. But again, like as a winning game, I'm sorry, that's just not that impressive. I'm being honest. But hey, do it for the bros, like I said.
Yeah. And when thinking about Fabio's game, like it's a lot of like forgettable stuff. Like you will forget a casual fan. Like, who is this guy? What is the season of Survivor? But when you do start to think about it, there is some fun there. So I'm going back to you, Alyssa. Why don't you like fun?
I am obviously a stick in the mud, and I've never had fun a day in my life. So
okay, makes sense.
That's my answer.
Rachel, we've been way too positive on this guy. Give me something negative to talk about with Fabio. Was he not playing dumb the whole time? Is he actually like the bro, what's going on kind of guy? Why do people not like his win?
Yeah, I feel like a good thing, like Luke said about his game, is that faking being dumb. Oh, surfer bro. But I feel like a bad thing about his game is the similar thing, faking being dumb, because then people don't necessarily respect you. You're not being put in the driver's seat for strategy. I feel like a big fault for his game is that he was left out of the loop sometimes, never really part of any major alliance. And I feel like with that double quit he gets 2 rounds further in the game without necessarily having to do much there besides like, 2 people are quitting right now. And so I feel like that really sort of knocks him down in the rankings, which you could say similar to these other people like Ben and Chris. That's not anything of his, can't help it. He didn't choose to be on that season where people are going to leave. But I feel like for me, like I've said, valuing strategically dominant games, and we just don't see that from Fabio's winning game here.
That's true. And I hate to go back to Alyssa again for this one. Rapid fire question chat. Let's get ready for it. The moment of truth. Rachel kind of already answered here, but I want to know from you, the Fabio hater, the person without the fun. Was Fabio playing dumb or not? Yes or no? Chat, I want to hear from you too.
I feel like we've all been Fabio's age, and we were all dumb at that age. So, I want to say he was actually being dumb, but he wasn't being dumb in the sense like he's any stupider than the average 21-year-old or however old he was. And it's like, we're all dumb at that age. It's okay. I'm sure that he's grown up since then.
We got no, he wasn't playing, in my opinion. All right, there we go. We're going to take a quick little break here to talk about these winners in the exact rankings, because in these Survivor YouTuber rankings, not everyone's going to get to talk about every winner. So I want to give a little opportunity to talk about not your favorite winner, because that's going to spoil who's at the top, but more of who do you think is a very underrated winner. So I'm going to start. I'm going to take the boring one here. really, really boring one. I'm saying from all the hate he got here today, Chris Underwood is 100% an underrated Survivor winner. But now that I've had you guys a little bit of time to think about it, Flynn, you're going next. Who is an underrated winner in Survivor? You can take anyone.
Well,
It doesn't have to be someone we're talking about with today.
I'll save him for when we do talk about him, but Aris for sure.
Aris, okay.
For an underrated
Interesting.
season, yeah. I may be biased, but again, same archetype, but I don't care.
Rachel, underrated winner.
Oh, let's see. Underrated.
We got Tommy, Bisepia, Tina, Jenna, Erica. Oh, Gabler. There's so many.
Yeah, with recency bias, I will say Erica, just given like that was the season right after the pandemic, our first woman winner in a really long time. And then the way that she was edited, not a good showing for her.
And Luke.
I mean, I think Chris Vanuatu is pretty underrated. He is the best BS artist of all time. That final tribal council, I mean, is just a masterclass on just absolute bullshit. So, you know, I got to give it props to him. I also think Tommy is pretty underrated. Obviously the season is hot garbage and no one ever wants to rewatch it, and that's totally understandable. But he had a vice grip on the game from start to finish, and played people like Dean like a fiddle. So Tommy also for me. Tommy,
good one. All right, let's get back to it here at number 40.
For Alyssa?
Oh, Alyssa. I'm hating on you the entire stream. Alyssa.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Alyssa, do you even want to give it one? It's okay. You don't have to. Give me an underrated one there.
I can just say that Ben is my underrated winner. We all heard
like
my Ben monologue, so we can move on with our lives.
Okay. Now, with that out of the way, number 40. This one, Alyssa's going to be on the hot seat again for this one, sadly. We got Rachel ranking this person 43rd. Alyssa ranking this person 31st. Idled out 30th, so you're both in the hot seat.
Oh, wow.
Flynn 36th. Me 37th. So, chat, who do you think it is?
The winner of Survivor All-Stars.
Amber Burkich Mariano, the winner of Survivor All-Stars. All right, Rachel, we're going to start with you here. The second worst winner in Survivor history. I don't want you giving the excuse. You got to put someone somewhere. You already used that excuse for the 44th person. So let's be real here. Why is Amber your second worst?
Oh, honestly, I'm like, I don't remember doing that ranking and ranking her so low. I feel like for Amber, with this season and her and Rob's like budding love story within the season, I feel like she gets the short end of the stick with the edit. I feel like she's very overshadowed with Rob throughout the entire season in terms of like strategy. Oh, we see Rob making the moves when Rob and Amber are the ones strategizing together. And here it's sort of like Amber positioning herself, as a lesser of two evils. You have to vote for one, or me or Rob. And Rob maybe had a little bit less of a good social game here with all of the Lex stuff. But I feel like this was like an under-edited woman winner. And I feel like with our next few rankings, a little spoiler, we're going to start to see that a lot, where like these women have these winning games, but the way that they're edited, I feel like it might be a little bit harder to judge their game fully because we're just not seeing it on the TV screen.
Yeah, and so for someone who I thought was on the pulse a lot for what the overall rankings were throughout this entire thing, Luke, I'm talking about you. When the overall ranking says 40th overall and you say 30th, you obviously got some praise to say for Amber, and I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Well, I think Amber played the exact kind of game she needed to. I mean, I basically agree with everything Rachel said. That was more like praise of Amber than criticism. But yeah, she attached herself to Rob very early on. And I think from basically day 2 or 3, she knew that Rob would not be able to win in the end. She went to the end with the exact right person. I think she had completely clocked all of the jury votes and knew exactly where they were falling and knew that she would beat Rob. And if the goal of Survivor is get to the end and get more votes than the person next to you, Amber knew what she was doing from the second they started flirting. So I don't think she's like an incredible winner by any means. I mean, she really benefited from having like 0 targets. But she did play a decent game that season, and she got out of a really bad swap. I don't think that was entirely Rob's doing. I think she did a lot of heavy lifting back at the camp with Lex and Kathy. So yeah, not the best winner, not the winner I would have hoped for Survivor's first All-Star season, but a respectable win in my opinion.
Alyssa, I bet you're happy you're not in the hot seat here. We got people agreeing with you this time. So do you have any more praise? I want to hear from what you got for Amber here.
I think one thing that I think people definitely look at Amber's game through the lens of Rob went on to become this big Survivor legend, especially like more modern Survivor fans who maybe weren't watching the show as it aired. And so I guess I had the benefit of having watched All Stars before I knew who the heck Rob Mariano was. And so like I wasn't watching All Stars with the lens of like, oh, Rob, 4-time player, like Survivor, like he's on a lot of people's Survivor Mount Rushmore. And so I feel like a lot of people rewatching All Stars with this idea of like Rob as like the god of Survivor, and makes Amber's game look worse because people are just looking at Rob. And so I feel like all of the positive things that have been mentioned about Amber so far, I agree with. And I think that sometimes people can't see that because they're so fixated on Rob and like Rob's Survivor legacy.
Okay, so now I feel like we're giving Amber too much praise. She's still the 40th best Survivor winner of all time. So we need to flip things back around for a second. Flynn, give me a little bit more of the spice on it, like a little bit more anger to it.
I mean, yeah, like, you know, credit to her. I mean, I'll start with the positive again. Credit to her for like doing what she had to do to win. But the problem is, unlike, you know, the next winner we'll talk about, the problem with Amber, as opposed to some other people, or just the people who like latched on to someone they knew they could beat, I don't think she knew she could beat Rob. I think she just generally fell in love with him, and like, you know, it was going to be a ride or die to the end, literally for the end of her life. So, you know, he could have told her to jump off a cliff, and she probably would have at that point. So, you know, I don't really think there was much strategic, if I'm being honest, strategy behind it. I will say, so I used to have her very, very low. I always gave Rob a lot of the credit, especially for the surviving the jury vote. I do give her a lot more credit nowadays for that, so that's why she's out of the really bottom tier for me. But yeah, like I said, it just really just felt like a follower and not really strategic, as opposed to, again, the next person we'll talk about. Why that's why I'm a lot higher on that next person. More so, she fell in love with him, and you know, hey, he brought her to the end, and she beat him because Rob was such a not likable person, jury bitter. So it is what it is.
So right off that, it's time for the rapid fire question chat. It's as simple. You're typing one word either way. It's going to be a name, and it's going to be the rapid fire question for Idled Out as well. Watching this season, in the moment, who did you want? Be honest. Did you want Rob or did you want Amber? This one's pretty easy, I think, to win.
I wanted Amber. No, I'm just kidding. I wanted Rob.
Okay, good.
As a viewer and as, you know, especially like looking at it through a modern lens, I think a lot of people would probably vote for Rob. But yeah, I mean, a lot of bitter Bettys on that jury, and I'm rightfully so in some cases.
Yep, makes sense. Next up, number 39. The number of days Survivor used to be. Rachel ranks this person 38th overall. Alyssa, you're right on the pulse of it this time. You got 39th overall. Idled Out, 24th overall. So you're in the hot seat this time. I'm excited to hear what you got to say about this person. Flynn, 35th. And I ranked this person 40th overall. Here we go.
The winner of Survivor Samoa, Natalie. Russell.
Really,
we got Natalie, the winner. So as my co-host, stop laughing for a little second here. We got Survivor Samoa, Natalie White. Luke, let's start with you here. I think
Sure.
the little joke I had there at the end here, Russell. Although, Natalie won the game, Russell was too villainous out there. I understand bitter juries and things, but also just the lens of how they edited the show. It's so hard for me to root for Natalie as a winner. And I think you did. So I want to hear it.
Well, I just think it's borderline impossible to judge her game because of her historic invisibility. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. I certainly, understand the people who still think Russell should have won. But for me, I think Natalie gets a lot of credit because she survived 14 tribal councils. She went to every single tribal except for one. She survived a pre-merge where only one man was voted out. I think that says a lot about her game too. I think she set in motion the Foa 4 dominating over Galoo by getting, by putting that seed in Laura's ear. I think it was Laura to get Eric out. So I think she has a lot of strategic merit to her game. I think she had a really good social game. We obviously saw none of it and had to piece it together from the jury and interviews after the fact. But I think just a pretty solid game. I think you can't discount that 14 tribal councils that she attended. I think it's still the record.
That's crazy. Being the voice of the people this time, Alyssa, give us the real story of Natalie White here.
I mean, Natalie White was kind of just there. Like, was she there though? We're still not really sure. I feel like it's one of those things where she's not a great winner, but I feel like she didn't do anything wrong except for not really be edited and then not be Russell Hantz. So, like, that's it. That's that. Like, I feel like there have definitely been worse winners who actually did something wrong, whereas Natalie was just Natalie. I respect her game. Not really a game that I feel like I was like, yeah, Natalie White, Survivor winner. But, she was certainly there.
The big reason I'm happy Natalie won was just so she beat my arch nemesis in Survivor. So I think that's a really good take. I saw this comment made pretty good sense. 14 for 14 for voting. So she voted correctly every single tribal council she went to. I was unaware of that. That's insane. Flynn, give me your take on Natalie here. This is one that's so tough to rank, and especially from what Rachel was saying, these under-edited female winners. How do we go about this?
Like I said, honestly, this is an easy one for me to rank. I thought I had her a little higher than Amber, but again, like very similar to Amber, except she was actually strategic. She knew she could beat Russell. She latched on to Russell, and she knew she could beat him. It's not sexy whatsoever, but that's the game she played. And again, I guess if I had to do it again, I actually would, and I thought I did put a little higher than Amber. I only have her one spot above her, I think. If I had to do it again, I probably would put her a little bit above. Like Luke brought up a good point there that she was able to survive all those pre-merge tribal councils when being last female standing. And her Eric move, again, he brought that up. But I think people forget how important that was, because if Jason would have gone home there, suddenly it's an 8-3 numbers disadvantage, and Russell can't play the idol there. They could have had the votes to split. Now, granted, Shambo was on their side at that point, so who knows really. But point being, that was such a forgotten move that everyone thinks about what happened with Russell after that. But that was such a big move in terms of the Foa 4 taking over. So if I had to do it over again, I actually probably would put a little higher. But again, as a dominant game, just ranking all these winners, I'm sorry, it's just not a very dominant game. She did what she had to do. Credit to her, all respect, and especially more respect than Amber. But I just can't put her this much higher.
It's rapid fire for Rachel and chat as well. A simple yes or no, chat. That'll be okay for you, Rachel. I want a little more spice with it, a little more explanation on your answer why. But chat, give me a yes or no. Should Russell have won Survivor?
Oh, spicy. So I feel like my answer will be no, because with the social game, there is a line between bitter juries and being a complete asshole to the people that you're playing with. And if you are like offending people to the point of like personal call outs and people non-game related things, then that is just a bad social game. And obviously they're not going to want to vote for you to win the game if you are like calling them out, being rude to them, just out of game kind of bad social plays. So no, he should not have won, because that part of the social game is really important. That's the entire part of winning the game. You have to vote people out of the show and make them still like you enough to want to give you $1 million at the end, even though you crushed their dreams. And I would say with the bad edit for Natalie, Russell had 108 confessionals this season. Natalie only had 15, and she's the winner, which is the 10th highest number in confessionals for the season. So you can just see how poorly she was edited.
That's insane. That's insane. Okay, chat. We saw that was the most active I've seen you guys. Really good job there. Let's keep that going for these rapid fire questions. I'm proud of you. Maybe not like spam if you're one person multiple times, but I like it. I like it. And also, hey Ethan, thanks for stopping by here. Next up, it's finally time for giveaway time. We like to give stuff away. The replica Survivor puzzle, Spencer Bledsoe one. You know what? I'm just 3, 2, 1, let's go. With all 4 Survivor YouTuber winner rankings, we'll be giving away a replica of the infamous 5-piece puzzle that Spencer won during Survivor Cambodia.
This is the kind of puzzle you solve in an instant, and Spencer just did!
Even though it's cool to watch these live streams afterwards, if you want a chance at winning the replica puzzle, you need to make sure to tune in to all the streams as they are live.
Only 5 pieces in this puzzle. When you get it, it will be instantly, and it will be over like that.
But if you aren't feeling lucky and want a guaranteed chance of owning the replica Survivor puzzle, make sure to check out the Idle Play Survivor 45 drop. This drop will be including 10 replica Survivor puzzles in multiple colors, and the whole thing is going live during the final Survivor YouTuber Winner Rankings podcast, September 22nd, 8:30 p.m. Yeah. There it is. I'm going to share my screen right here. Giveaway tool. Share. Here we are. So I need rapid fire response. Luke, give me a phrase, a text for the chat to try and win this puzzle.
Got nothing for you.
Nothing for yeah. Now I'm going to put this in chat. You got to spell it just like this or else you won't be entered. One sec. I got a broken hand. This might take me a minute. Copy over and paste. So I don't know if I can pin that, but got nothing for you. You got to spell it just like that. Start collecting them, and then you'll be entered to win. Let's hope we get a couple entries with that crazy phrase there. Let me remove that screen.
I like the comment. Carson would love this for sure.
Carson's a cool dude. Make sure you guys comment that at the very end of the stream. Once we're done all the rankings, we'll be tallying the votes or just doing the random spin to see who wins. All right. Next up, we got the 38th best/worst. Are we on good winners yet? We'll see. Rachel ranked this person 42nd. Alyssa, you're in the hot seat. 22nd. Idled out 41st. Flynn 40th. And myself, I'm at 43rd. Here we go.
The winner of Survivor Amazon.
So before I rip you apart, and I don't want chat to rip you apart either, Alyssa, I'm going to let you explain yourself here. 22nd overall. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when Rachel was like, I don't remember putting Ben this high. I'm like, I really don't remember ranking Jenna as high as I did. I feel like thinking back on my past self, I went through one go through of the winners where I just ranked them by how much I liked them. And then I actually went through and like switched it based on like their strategic game and their social game and like all of the other stuff that I said that I was ranking these winners on. So all I can think that happened is that maybe I just forgot to move Jenna down. So Sorry to all the Jenna stands out there. I really wanted to be your warrior, but I don't know why I rated her this highly.
Okay, let's flip it around then.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
I love the honesty, though. I love the honesty.
I respect it.
Flynn, let's hear
Oh,
the other side of the story for Jenna.
Okay, so I mean, I will say, I remember, I know a lot of people, men versus women season. A lot of people, I don't know what, I just thought this, but I know a lot of people thought she would do really bad being a supermodel on, a women's tribe. Especially the older females wouldn't really like her, just like the other girls in general would kind of be offended by her. But she definitely used that to her advantage, right? Forming the Pretty Girl Alliance with Heidi and Shauna, and they created the majority. So that gameplay, the fact that she, her archetype was able to survive, an all women's tribe, I think it's impressive. Some people might say she was given an easy way, but as she said herself, when attractive women with a bunch of guys, would I think be a lot easier than attractive women, a bunch of females. So I do give her credit for that. But after that, she just kind of, when she gets to the merge, she is in the majority alliance with Rob initially, but she's not really, it really is, let's be real, this really is a season of Rob Cesternino. I mean, there's no other way around it. And she didn't do anything actually bad, I guess. It was more so Alex, I guess, who did the kind of put herself in the minority. The big thing that I just cannot get over with Jenna, she's the first and I believe only winner who like flat out wanted to quit. Like she wanted to quit at the final 5. There's no way around it. I cannot respect that whatsoever. And because she wanted to quit, they chose Heidi. The 3 guys chose Heidi over her, and she won 2 immunities to get to the end. So yeah, I mean, nothing really special about her game. I kind of respect her pre-merge game more than most people, but her post-merge just kind of got along there. And again, her end game is just awful. I cannot get over the fact that she wanted to quit. That's just a big no-no in my book.
We're going to take a quick pause from Jenna for a second. We got a question from Ethan. Can you ask Idled Out if he's a Simpsons fan?
I would say anyone who has watched my channel for a little bit knows I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I'm always dropping little jokes, like classic Simpsons jokes. So I was practically raised by Homer and Marge. So yeah, I'm a pretty big Simpsons fan.
All right, now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Jenna, Rachel, the men versus women's twist. Would Jenna have won a season without this twist? Like, is this a season set up for Jenna to win? Is she got lucky? We all ranked her like fairly low, except for Alyssa. So I want to hear like how the twist would have affected the game in any way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like with a season split by genders, and it's the first time it's being split by genders, I guess it's difficult because what would the tribes have been otherwise? You might say like physicality wise, it could be like a lot different compared to the men versus the women part of the game. So maybe it would have changed parts of the game, but I feel like the game mechanics here weren't necessarily set up for Jenna to win the game. So it's like she wasn't necessarily like, this was her season, we're going to make it a men's versus women's season so she can go on and win the game later. But I would say like the season starting men versus women makes her 3 immunities at the end more significant because the last 2 immunities she won when there were only men left in the game. So I would say that's like a check mark for her like physical prowess there.
And I'm gonna jump right back to you for the rapid fire question here, Rachel. So chat, remember, get involved. It's fun. It's a game. Do the rapid fire question. Chat, your yes or no, Rachel. I want a better explanation again. If it was a win today, is Jenna perceived as a better winner or no? We've had the under-edited female winners in recent seasons. So what happens if Jenna wins a game of Survivor today?
Yeah, I feel like, so if it's the exact same edit here, Jenna, bad edit the first time out, we really don't see like why she wins the game. I feel like her edit is sort of negative, shown by like disliked by the cast. We see more of Matthew's personal growth. He seems like he's getting the winner edit. You're getting a lot of Rob Cesternino. Probst is saying he's the best to never win the game kind of thing. So I feel like today with an edited woman winner, she might be ranked a little bit higher, but I feel like you'd still have those people saying like, oh, Matthew deserved to win or Rob deserved to win. It really reminds me of like, oh, if Erica, people are saying Xander should have won. It's giving me that kind of vibes.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Number 37. Rachel, 34th overall. Alyssa, 41st. Idled out, 39th. Flynn, you're on the pulse with this one, 37th. And I ranked this person 35th overall. In 3, and 2, and 1.
The winner of Survivor, Mike.
Flynn, you're on the pulse with this one, the exact same ranking as the average. So we're starting with you. Mike Holloway, give me a little summary of his game and his win.
Yeah, so he played very good from the beginning, was in the initial power structure on the, what was he called? The blue car tribe, duh. Could be on the, be in that blue shirt. Yeah, it was in a good spot there, and as well as the swap tribe. So he played a very dominant pre-merge game and was in a, and for that matter, dominant, pretty much the first half of his game, he was pretty much dominant the head figure. The problem was he wasn't just on the outs, he was the absolute #1 target the entire second half of the game. And I'm sorry, when, like I said earlier, I kind of spoiled it earlier, when you need 5 immunity wins and an idol as well to save yourself, I can't overlook that. Again, I respect in some cases, and even in some cases when we get to the top tier, I respect immunity wins and idol plays. But in that case, and keep in mind too, it wasn't because like Ben, where he was a big threat. He put himself on the bottom at the auction, right? And he became the #1 target for everyone at that point in time. So when you put yourself in the bottom for your own doing, and instead of getting yourself back into the majority and all that good stuff, you rely on immunity wins and idols. That's something that's been talked about. It's just not really reliable as a win, especially when you compare all the winners. So great first half, awful second half on and that awfulness of the second half really puts them down low for me, and I think for most people.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much Mike's game, the immunity beast. That's how he got to get there, because he rubbed people the wrong way. Luke, does needing to win an immunity hurt the rankings versus someone who is an immunity, a challenge beast? Like, if Mike didn't win this, he would have been gone for many, many rounds. Does that affect your ranking at all? Or was it just he was an unlikable guy?
Yeah, all the people who needed immunities to get to the end, your Mikes, Fabios, Jennas, I have them pretty low. I think it's the least game capable way to get to the end. And yeah, needing 1 or 2, most winners need 1 or 2 clutch immunity wins. Mike needing 5 plus an idol is just like, that's just not great. Plus, as Flynn said, this was a completely self-inflicted wound with the auction thing. Which has to be, probably the worst move in a winning game outside of Chris Underwood literally getting voted out. So, not to throw shade at your boy, Russell.
I'm kicking you out of here 1 second. So, idle out's gone now. So, let's have a real conversation. Chris is one of the best winners ever. I'm joking. You're back.
Thank you. I'm back.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. I understand what you're saying here. I remember watching this season, and I didn't rank him good at all, so I'm nowhere to talk. But I ranked him the second best of everyone here. Rachel 1 spot ahead of me. But I remember watching this season, even though he wasn't liked by the other players out there, being pumped. Like, Mike kept winning. Let's go. This is crazy. And seeing all those challenges and watching highlights of Mike on YouTube, being like looking up challenge moments. I do that sometimes. It's so fun to watch. It's a hype moment of Survivor. I like the challenges. So I want to know, Rachel, I'm going to you next. Why I understand still the 34th best. We're not in strong winners yet by any means, but 34 is significantly higher than the average. So what is the positives of Mike's win?
Yeah. Negatives, the auction.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the worst thing you could do to yourself in a game like this. Like you all are mentioning, for me, not a fan of like having to win immunity in order to win the game. and you're the person that put yourself in that situation and that you need to win all of the time, I feel like it would be a little bit different if you won immunity, but you were still making game moves while winning immunity. So I feel like that's where Mike is semi-good post-merge. When he is winning, he's still voting out the people who are threats to him that maybe could beat him at the end, voting out people that are good at challenges. So he's surrounded by all the people that suck. So then he can keep on winning individual immunities or reward challenges where he's going to get food so he can fuel up for the immunities. And I feel like in this cast where there's so many unlikable people, Mike coming to Shireen's defense and the only person to do so sort of gives him some brownie points. Like for me, I don't necessarily know if I'd want to watch his season again because of the negativity and all of that with the cast members against each other. So I feel like him just showing some humanity raises him some points.
Yeah, I do like that. But again, he's the 37th. So we're going to you, Alyssa, here. You rank this guy 41st overall. So we've said a little bit of positives, a bunch of negatives. Do you have any negatives that we missed from this guy, ranking him as the 41st? Or do we kind of...
No, I just think it's weird because, like, I feel like Ben and Mike have very similar games, and so many people rank Ben as, like, a lesser winner than Mike, even though it wasn't Ben's fault that he was in a position where he needed so many idols.
Whereas we're talking about Mike right now, not Ben.
I know, but I'm saying that it's interesting to me that Mike, like, shot himself in the foot, and people somehow think that's better. So I can make everything about Ben, though, so I will do that. But, yeah, I do think it's interesting. I don't have anything else to add, though.
Okay. Rapid fire question time now for Mike. And idled out, we're going to go to you. In chat as well, we're going to be going to you as well. So chat, you know what to do. Go crazy with this. Why is the physical game frowned upon by the community? Like if you're a good physical player, why is that not good? Why is strategic or social better? Why can't a challenge beast be looked at positively?
For me, I think it's because Richard Hatch set the template that this is a game of social strategy on, you know, or the jury did rather by voting for him over Kelly. If Kelly won, first of all, I don't think the show would still be on. But in the theoretical situation it is still, I think we would have a much more physical game, and people like Mike, who kind of brute force their way to the end, would be ranked a lot higher. But it's just history for me.
You outsmarted me there. That was a good answer. Thank you. So next up, guys, we're taking a small little break. We have 3 players left, but now I need to hear one hot take from everyone here about a winner. Ideally not a winner we're going to be talking about here today. A hot take in your rankings that you're like, oh, this person I ranked here, everyone else is there. For me, I'm going with Jam Jam. I think there was too much recency. I'm not going to spoil anything about the rankings, but I think there was way too much recency bias for him, and I'll save that for another day for why. But you guys can go a little more explaining because you won't be on those podcasts of why you like or dislike a certain player in your hot takes. We'll go with you, Alyssa.
I guess I have seen people in the chat talking about why Brian Heidick hasn't been like in the bottom yet. And I guess I feel the need to justify why I put Brian relatively high in the rankings, which is that I don't like him as a person, but I feel like by the criteria that I set forth for myself, like he was a good winner by those criteria where he had a very good strategic game. I don't know if you would call it a good social game, but he like sure did talk to people. And then also I feel like anyone who watches Thailand understands why Brian was the winner of Thailand. So don't like him as a person, but I had to rate him pretty high based on my own criteria. So sucks to be me.
Rachel.
Yeah, I think a hot take of mine, I think I ranked Tommy a lot lower than the rest of the Survivor content creators here. So spoilers for potential future podcasts where Tommy will be located. But for me, I think I'm lower on Tommy's game. I guess more less so about Tommy, but maybe more so about like the season, as well as like, I don't know, the editing, and Tommy's edit as the winner sort of makes him lower in the rankings for me.
Sense. Flynn?
So I mean, I don't want to. I'll just
don't
say
spoil yours.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this person like in really soon, so I'll save that for then.
Okay. And Luke?
Sorry, I had to pull up our rankings. For me, this is a pretty high variance person in terms of where people ranked them. Some people had this person really low. I had them really high, and a few other people did as well. But I think Tina is criminally underrated in this fandom. I think she did a lot of what Richard Hatch did, but with a like Southern mom veneer on top of it. Like, just look at how she talks to Jerry. Like, everything she says to Jerry is the meanest thing you could say to a person to their face, but it comes off nice because she is just this like sweet Tennessee mom. But yeah, I think in terms of the strategic game, Tina was incredibly cutthroat. The social game, she had a really strong read on what was going on all the time and a lot of allies. So I think Tina, chronically underrated, and I hope someone will be there to defend Tina's honor whenever we get to Tina.
I like that. So, number 36. The first new era Survivor winner we're going to be talking about. Chat, try and guess who it is. There's 4 of them to choose from. I feel like you might be able to guess correctly. We got Rachel at 40th overall, Alyssa at 40th, Luke at 37th, Flynn at 39th, and I'm with Flynn on this one, 39th overall as well.
The winner of Survivor 43, Gabler. That's 5, that's enough. Thank you. We have our winner.
We have our winner, Mike Gabler. Rachel, does the winner's edit affect a season? Most people would consider Survivor 43. I don't know what your ranking is of this season. I think the community is not too much of a fan of this season. Jeff certainly wasn't. Is that because of the winner, or does that not really affect it at all?
I guess it's a mix of like the winner and the edit for this season, because even if like Jeff doesn't like the winner, you could try to edit the season in a way that demonstrates why the winner is going to win this season, which I feel like is a big fault for Gabler's season here, similar to like what I was saying with Tommy's season's edit. It's like, okay, Gabler is hiding in plain sight. Okay, great. The editors told us this, and maybe we should have listened, but still, it just felt so random that Gabler was winning the season, because in the edit early on, we're seeing him like bumbling around. He is sick and maybe wants to, you know, have to leave the game kind of thing. And besides like a few confessionals we see from Jesse talking about Gabler, they have this whole secret alliance that we didn't even know about. And it's like, if your winner is going to win this season, wouldn't you show certain things that this winner is doing that leads them to get jury votes at the end of the season? So I feel like for Gabler here, the edit is, they could have maybe edited him better to demonstrate these things that he was doing, but I also ranked him low because having one big move and saying your one big move is voting Ellie out, which she's not even on the jury, so you could say it happened pre-jury. Like, I don't think you should or can be able to say your one big move was pre-jury, and that warrants you to win the game.
First of all, I need to say it. I'm not American, so all you these American pronunciations here, Massachusetts. There you go. I think I was pretty close there on that one. So thank you, Rachel. So Luke, I'm gonna come to you here for Survivor. I think a big part of the game is just understanding how a player won. Can you explain to me how Gabler won?
He was sitting next to Owen and Cassidy, who had no winner equity whatsoever. So that is how he won. I think when he met most of the people. He started off with a bang and got out his biggest rival. He just put his foot down and said, Ellie's got to go. And I think that held a lot of clout with people. And then at the end, I mean, you can argue back and forth whether Cassidy or Gabler got Jesse out, but Gabler was the one who lit the fire and got Jesse out. So he started and ended his merge game really, really strong. Plus the social connections. Does he beat literally anyone else other than Owen and Cassidy? No. But he definitely made an impact. He had a lot of friends on the jury, and I don't know, maybe they just wanted to vote for the meme winner, but they all picked the funniest possible option, which is what I would do. So yeah, that's how Gabler won.
Thank you for that. So talking about these moves Gabler made, we haven't really talked about many moves yet. Alyssa, can you give me an underrated move from the Alley Gabler himself? It's a recent season. We all watched this season.
I sure did watch it. I sure wish I didn't. I think Gabler did a really good job. I don't even think this is an underrated move, though, because this is literally his, like, one crowning move. I guess when he was, like, talking in that endurance challenge, and he was like, I'm dedicating the next minute to, like, whoever the heck. Like, I don't think that was really a move, nor was it really underrated, but it's one of the only positive things I can say about Gabler. So I'm going to say that was an underrated move of his. I think that also showed his humanity to people, especially when he was like competing this next minute for like all the military vets or whatever. I think that did raise his winner equity. Let's go with that.
Gabler was incredibly sincere, which is case in point, that moment. I mean, you know exactly who he is 5 seconds into talking to him. I mean, him being willing to fall on the sword in the first episode and play his shot in the dark and then getting talked out of it by Ellie, which bad move on her part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he is extremely sincere. You know exactly who he is. And I think the jury really liked that about him.
Yeah, he definitely was a Survivor winner in Survivor history. I'm going to let every single person here answer the rapid fire question. We'll go down the list. Chat, you got one name to say, and either say the name Cassidy or say the name Gabler. I think we all know what I mean by this. Flynn, you're going first.
Cassidy.
Luke.
Gabler.
Alyssa.
Cassidy.
Rachel.
Gabler, because the person that gets the vote is the winner.
Ooh! Oh, sorry guys, that was loud. That's crazy. We got Owen, hot take here.
Owen
in here.
That was Owen's account.
It's gonna be mixed again. Yeah.
Cassidy. There we go. Whoa! Supporting Idled Out in the Survivor winner streams. Oh. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Everyone, give W's in the chat for Big Show Gunno. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yo, I think it's 4-3 Gabler in the chat right now. It's never ends.
I can't keep up with it now. This is so much. But yeah, guys, please give a W in the chat for Big Show. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I think that's a close one. That's a fun one to talk about.
What's your answer, Russell?
Yeah, you're the tiebreaker, dude.
Yeah.
Cassidy.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But if we want to talk for real, I think this is the correct answer.
The winner of Survivor, Edge of Extinction, Chris. That's enough.
He comes back 43. Yes.
Anyways, okay, number 35 ranked, guys. We're almost there. We got 2 more left. I'm having so much fun tonight.
It's been amazing.
Drop a like if you're having fun as well. This has been amazing. We have Rachel, 30th overall. Alyssa, 28th.
My hot take.
Luke, 27th. Flynn, 41st. You're in the hot seat for this one, Flynn. And I guess I'm in the hot seat as well. If you guys want to talk to me a little bit, I ranked this person 19th overall. So I'm a fan of this winner. Whoa. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
The winner of Survivor, Michele.
Let's go, Michele. Yep. Okay, so Michele, Survivor co-wrong, the winner. Flynn, let's start with you first, and then I guess I'll give my explanation, and then we'll let all these people in the middle decide what's right.
Okay, so first of all, as a player, probably the best, one of, if not the best social player of all time, not just for winners, but maybe all players in Survivor history. Okay, there's no question she lived up to the beauty archetype, and she is an amazing social player. The fact that she got to the end of Winners of War, amazing all-around player. But I'm sorry, her winning game is just not that great. And if we talk about, again, luck, probably up there as one of the luckiest winners. Okay. Now I will say I'm not sure if this is I'm not sure if this is 100% good. I'd probably move her up if this isn't the case. But I'm pretty sure had the beauties gone to any tribal council in the pre-merge, she would have been the boot. I'm pretty sure after the swap
social
tribe,
game's too strong for that.
Had her swap tribe gone to tribal council in any of those tribal councils, she would have been the boot. Had she gone to any tribal council in the pre-merge, she would have been just a forgotten, pre-merge boot. Then we get to the merge even, and yes, she's in the majority, but she was out of the loop at a couple of votes. As the only reason why the scat vote was able to happen because they voted for Ty for some reason, her and Julia, so she was completely out of the loop. Even though she was in the majority, she was obviously at the bottom of the majority. She only lasted 5 tribal councils in general to win. And again, final 5, again, she was going home. She was going home, had freaking the old guy, Joe, just stuffed his face full of meat. All right. She had, that doesn't sound good, I get, but I get it. Put things in perspective here. She was going to go home if not for that. And I guess I don't penalize her for, she could have very easily been the boot of final 3, had been on final 2, which I didn't even think about till now. I'm not sure if that's the case, but either way, that's just another knock if that is the case. But she got so lucky.
So here's the deal, guys. Sorry, keep going.
Got super lucky in the pre-merge, not very dominant when she was in the post-merge, even though it was in the majority, and got probably other than Ben and Chris, the luckiest break in Survivor history.
So here's the thing, and I don't want to give any spoilers for someone that we won't be talking about today, Sophie Clark. The same idea I have when I rank Sophie is kind of the same for Michele here. I improved my ranking of this person. I don't know if that's fair, but I made the same rules for everyone. You can rank however you like. So for Sophie and for Michele, their rankings improved in my eyes after seeing their second game. Now, is that fair? Probably not thinking about it, but I think it is. I like seeing what Michele was able to do in Winners at War. Her social game is amazing. And when you move it back to here to Survivor Code Wrong, it's the same idea, an under-edited winner. We don't see her. It's because people are like, Aubrey. Aubrey's a cool player. We saw Aubrey a bunch of times, but Michelle's never been voted out of Survivor. Case in point, period. That's kind of what I think about it. I think the social game is kind of like the physical game. I think the super fan Survivor community gets way too obsessed with, I don't want to use the word game bots, but the overly strategic side of things. I think I talked about it earlier. I think the physical side of things gets left out, but also the social as well. The things that don't make for good TV, so we aren't going to see them, the making friends, those real personal connections is what makes Michele one of the best players in Survivor history. So we're going to move it out to the people in the middle now to give the proper reasoning. I think I'm way too high. I think Flynn's way too low. So let's go to Alyssa. Give me your honest thoughts on Michele.
Fun fact, when we did our season for Go Wrong, I had Michele as first boot, so did really great with that one. I think I'm definitely with you, Russell, where I liked her a lot better after watching the second time. And then also after, I was a really big Aubrey fan, so I liked her a lot better after getting some space from the Aubrey hype. I think what you said about her being someone who's social is very true, but I also think what Flynn said about her maybe not always being on the right side of the votes was true. I don't think that she would have gotten voted out if Beauty had gone to tribal council pre-merge, but I do think that she had some flaws in her social game. So, yeah.
Rachel, I know Flynn's your personal trainer, but who do you align more with in this situation, me or Flynn? And why?
I think I'm more on the same page with you, Russell.
And why? Why?
I feel like for Michele, under the radar social game, like you're saying, very difficult to edit. A lot of the people in this bottom 10, 11 winners are players that had really good social games and won more so because of their social game than like winning challenges or maybe even more like strategic winning games. And I feel like what you're saying, having time out of the show. Now we've seen Aubrey on Game Changers, Edge of Extinction. Maybe her stock has gone down because of those two showings compared to Michele on Winners at War. And even her on the challenge, rocking it over there. I feel like a lot of people see Michele in a different way now that her stock is rising, similar to like what you're saying about Sophie's stock rising after Winners at War. And same thing, Chris's stock is going to rise after the challenge if he plays Survivor again. See? It's all full circle here with Chris stands.
Talking about Chris for a second, Ethan sent this a little while ago. Russell, this is a serious question. Have you seen Chris's confrontation on the Challenge USA 2? I have saved them all. When the season's done, I'm going to be binging it all. So no, I have not seen it. But whenever we get to talk about Chris, I'm a Chris fan. So I'm sure I'm going to hopefully love it unless he's shown in a bad light there.
You gotta watch it, Russell.
Is it a good season?
Fighting with people, it's spicy.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy. Flynn, my rapid fire questions for you and for chat as well. Let's see this here. Really, this question's only for Flynn. I don't know if chat can answer this one. Why do you not value the social game in Survivor?
Well, I do value social game. I said myself, she's one of the best ever. But like, she got insanely lucky. There's just she got so lucky.
41st overall. 41st.
Yeah, because of that, I had to put her bottom 4. So, that's my reason. I don't know what to tell you. Great social player. It's great. But, I mean, just a very, very, very lucky game. Luck-dependent game.
Here we are. Last but not least, the final person we're going to be ranking here today. We've done a lot of rankings. So, chat, try and see if you can guess who is next. Rachel ranked this person 32nd, Alyssa 33rd, Idled Out 38th. I'm excited to hear your takes on this person. Flynn 31st, and myself 32nd. So right now, Luke's on the hot seat. The rest of us are kind of in agreement here. So drum roll, please. The last one of the night.
The winner of Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, Adam.
Mr. Adam Klein, Survivor superfan, won the game. A super messy game, but a rewarding game and a fun game to watch play out. A lot of people say this is like the Survivor turning a new leaf, like the game body era, these advantages popping up everywhere. So this is Survivor. I don't want to say changing for the worse, but definitely changing for changing. Flynn, I know before the stream started, you were excited to talk about Adam. So let's hear your initial debrief on the guy.
No, it's that opposite. I wasn't excited to talk about him because his game's so messy, so it's kind of hard to
tell me about it then.
It's kind of hard. Okay, let's just go through his game if I take everyone. I mean, he started on the bottom of their original Millennials tribe. Yeah, right. It's been so long. The original Millennials tribe, and he got swapped into a very good position. Probably like literally one of the best swaps of all time. He got could have flipped to the Gen X tribe. Or two people was leading the majority that kept them out of the minority, the OG Millennials tribe. And it was literally a showman. So you have to be almost an absolute idiot not to flip to Jessica and Ken's side there. And that was obviously the right move, put him in a good spot going forward. And his merging him is so interesting because like he's in the majority. It's obviously, again, it's hard to really call anyone, maybe other than David Wright from this season, as a great winner because, again, it's just so messy over the place. It's really hard. There's not really a dominant figure, right? And Adam's kind of the epitome of that. He was, kind of behind David, for example. But he did a lot of stuff, right? A lot of good stuff, like playing an idol, even though he didn't need it, he played an idol correctly. He got to the end without needing immunities, right? So I respect that, as opposed to had he needed immunities. But it's also did a lot of bad stuff, like, didn't come back to bite him, but the whole beef of Taylor really put him in a bad light going, that entire merge. Going to rocks with an idol in his pocket, and again, in a season like Millennials versus Gen X, and again, that's why I have a hard time putting anyone this season top tier because that's just such a crazy move, especially when Will literally put the next round. The big thing, though, I think is that not necessarily lucky because he kind of said he kind of himself, but the people in front of him, like Jay and David, just got so close to winning this game. Had Jay not had the idol been real, Jay likely wins. David came one immunity idol away from winning, right? And they were just so close, and I feel like he just kind of kept on him too long. And to his credit, he was trying to get out David, for example, the final 5, and that was an optimal move, but it didn't work for him. So it's again, he's like playing good, but like playing bad, and like he plays bad, but it turns out good for him. It's such a messy game to really talk about it. So I just feel like this is kind of a appropriate spot, and I feel like you can say that about most players this season.
So I didn't know a good way to phrase this, Luke. What don't you respect about Adam's game?
I have all the respect in the world for Adam, the man. His game, as Flynn said, extremely sloppy. I think he, this is like kind of Survivor becoming like the super fan era is kind of kicks off, I feel like, with Adam's win. And to his credit, he played better than most super fans after him. But yeah, his game is just like exactly how you would think a super fan would play. Like he aligns with the other nerdy people on his tribe and gets completely blindsided at the first vote. He's just scrambling around a lot. He burns bridges with Taylor, like Flynn said. The flip ultimately at the swap was a good move, but Taylor had his number. It very easily could have played out otherwise. I don't like, this is a knock on everyone in this season, but I don't like that he left his game up to a rock draw at Final 10. That's pretty embarrassing for all parties involved. I would not do that. I'd be like, I'm flipping. I'm not going to be Jessica here. Especially since Will flipped the literal next round. I don't want to knock on him too much. He has some good parts of his game too. I think he got the reward steal and rightfully knew it was the hot garbage and, did the only thing you can do with it and give it to a not as smart, not as game savvy player in Jay. And also I think a big credit to his game is that he was the only person in his alliance trying to go for David towards the end game. It is mind-boggling that Ken and Hannah were like fine with taking him deep. I think it was them, right? So just, the sloppiest winning game in Survivor history outside of Chris getting voted out third. So
hold up for a sec. Hold up. We're doing this one.
The winner of Survivor, Edge of Extinction, Chris. That's enough.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Very, very messy win. Very messy win.
Yeah, messy. But honestly, a fun game to watch. Like, I like that we saw all of Adam's flaws. If he was edited like some perfect game bot, I don't think the season would have been as fun as it was. So, yeah.
We actually have an Adam stan in the building right now. Survivor Scholars Rachel is a huge fan of Adam. Let's hear the story.
Alyssa and I, Adam stans. So the story, Survivor Scholars on YouTube, 2016. So it's going to be the start of Millennials versus Gen X airing. We see Adam is subscribed to us on YouTube, Adam Klein. We're like, oh, is this the Adam Klein going to be on this upcoming season or an imposter? So I'm going to college in California. Adam's from California, still in that area. And then we message him like, hey, if this is like the real Adam, like would love to get like coffee or something, big fan. And then he responds. And then we end up going to In-N-Out to get lunch with Adam before the season even airs. And and then he won the season. And we didn't know that when we got In-N-Out with him. And during this lunch, he calls Alyssa from my phone and Alyssa missed the call.
I was in class.
You got to pick up the call. That's crazy. That's such a cool story.
Rachel and I have been friends since we were 5 years old. This is the first time that Rachel Lynn has ever called me. I'm not going to pick up the phone.
No, important. So Adam Klein.
I've never had In-N-Out, and I've never met Adam. So you got that
You're
on
missing
me.
out.
It's not in Canada. It's not in Canada.
You got to come down here.
I'll try and do that. So
Luke can go get in and out.
Yeah, it's not in the Midwest either, really. So,
Alyssa, a little more of a technical question for you here. This is a question that Flynn wrote in our notes. Does having winners in front of him, like Jay and David, dampen his game?
What do you mean by in front of him?
Like more at the forefront. We had people like David and Jay more at the forefront of the season at the game. They're the main players.
kind of like what I said. If they get to the end and they win, right? Even if he gets to the end, so it's like really risky.
Okay. Because I was like, there's no one else in Millennials versus Gen X who has won the game. Okay, I get what you're saying though. I feel like it depends on who you are. Because I feel like in any season, there are people who are going to be like, well, this person would have made a better winner. I feel like the thing with Adam's game isn't necessarily that there are other people in the season who would have made good winners. It's that Adam's game was sloppy enough that they could have been winners. Like, I think there are some other seasons where it's like, oh, this person would have made a good winner, but the person who did win was strategic enough that they never got the opportunity. Whereas Adam left openings like right and left for people like Jay and people like David to possibly be a winner. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
You did good. We're almost 2 hours into a stream and you're making sense. So that's good.
Awesome.
Flynn, the rapid fire question. Chat, get involved with it. If he plays again, does Adam have a chance to win Survivor again? He's a super fan. They're going to invite him back. I think he's one of the players from Winners at War that will play again.
I will say, like, if they bring Bam back with a bunch of other winners, I don't know if
not winners. It's gonna be an all-star season. Does he have a chance?
So say he's the only winner on an all-star season. He's
not the. It's game changers. Game changers too.
Okay. Oh, so honestly, like I said, obviously the big time threats got taken out, but again, that's where being like a bad winner in this case for our rankings could really help him in that case because people. It's one of those. He's probably in one of those good spots. It's kind of similar to kind of some on this most recent Australian Survivor season. We kind of saw that where they're big threats, but they're not too big of threats. So you can't get them rid of them right away, but they're good shields to keep around at least to like the merge or so. Because again, who's going to vote for a winner again? Is Adam really going to win? Like they can always use that quote. Is Adam really going to win? Like 5 immunities to get to the end, let's keep him around as a shield going forward. So I don't know. I think he could do well, especially if isn't he married to some famous TikToker? Blood versus Water, come back. I'd like to see those.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So I like that. So it's that time, chat. If you haven't yet, got nothing for you. Let's put this on stream. Let's get rid of Adam's face. What are you doing here? Where do I do this? Right here. Boom. Actually, before we go, I do want to say I'm excited. I am gonna meet Adam on Monday. I'm taking Adam's casting, Survivor casting help coaching. So you might see me on Survivor 47 with Adam's help. So yeah, I'm gonna meet him. I'm excited. Here we go. Got nothing for you. There's 49 people in here, and we only have 14 entries. If you guys want to win this replica Survivor puzzle, it's a hard thing to type. I'm sorry. Get mad at Luke for it. Got nothing for ya.
It's pretty easy.
You're the one who put the number 4, Russell. Don't blame this all on Luke.
Yeah, you didn't give me a character limit.
Okay. My bad. I'm going to give it 30 more seconds. I don't know. That's too many times. 10 seconds, guys. And then I'm going to do the draw. I'm always scared that I'm going to be the winner of the draw. And with 15 entries, I feel like I have a good chance.
You've come close.
I was second place one time. So
yeah,
as I keep talking to myself, I had so much fun tonight, guys. Thanks for taking part in this. And everyone in chat as well. Thank you. This was a great time. All right, 16 people. That's going to have to do. 3, 2, 1. I hope I don't win.
I say it's going to be the fan crush guy.
Steph Warden, congratulations. You won the red Survivor Spencer 5-piece puzzle. Private message me on Instagram, Discord, or something, and I'll make sure to send that out to you. And with that, just some closing thoughts. Flynn, what can we expect from you in the coming weeks? I know you got something big planned. Is it announced yet?
Yeah. Oh, so I already announced my channel that before the premiere. This is gonna be that week's gonna be a great week for me. because on the Survivor premiere week, the very following day is the premiere of Hell's Kitchen. So that week's going to be great for me. But the Tuesday beforehand, I'm going to be doing season rankings with former 5th placer Cheyenne. You don't know who she is, but going to do a podcast with re-rank all the Hell's Kitchen seasons. And expect a very, very, for all you people watch my Hell's Kitchen channel, expect a very, very, very big announcement within these next couple of days or weeks. Yeah, that's all I can say for right now.
You can't give us anything? A little sneak peek for the
No,
in here? Okay, well. First of all, guys, give some W's in the chat for Steph for winning the puzzle. And also for Musco Kid M, that $6.99 dono for the good luck. I'm sorry the good luck didn't work. He didn't win. But anyways, thank you so much. So chat, please give some W's in the chat for Musco Kid. Luke, what do you got coming up with the coming weeks with Survivor 45 on the horizon?
Yeah, I know a lot of people always look forward to my cast assessment, so I'm super stoked. As soon as the cast is out, as soon as I can, I'll have that coming. But yeah, some Survivor 45 stuff, and then just my regularly scheduled content. So yeah, I hope people stay tuned.
Awesome. And Survivor Scholars, what can we expect from you coming soon?
Similar to Luke, once we get the Survivor 45 cast, Alyssa and I will start doing some pre-season cast assessments, boot lists, rankings, all the fun stuff. So super excited for the cast to officially drop.
Awesome. And for me, it takes me triple the amount of time to edit a video right now with this broken arm. So maybe a little bit slower uploads, but I'm still gonna try, and I love talking Survivor. So I'm gonna try to get stuff out there, guys. The last podcast, that is when the Idol plays Survivor 45 drop is coming, and I have 10 puzzles coming this time. So I'm really excited for that. And with that, I don't know, don't get idled out or something. Peace out. That was so much fun. This is the awkward part.